Good evening, one and all who have joined here. So, I welcome you all for the webinar on navigating the transition from BRR to BRSR, understanding the changing ESG reporting landscape. So, we have with us Dr. Miraj Inamdar, who will be the esteemed speaker for the webinar. And I take this privilege to give you all a brief introduction about him. So, Dr. Inamdar has been a respected faculty member at the National Institute of Securities Market since the year 2015. Prior to joining NISM, Dr. Inamdar has worked with various prestigious institutions such as UTI, the Indian Institute of Capital Market, Institute of Cost Accountants of India chapter, and IIT Bombay CSE. He has a diverse academic background that includes an MCom, MBA in Finance, CWA Final, and a PhD in the field of ESG investment from the University of Mumbai. Dr. Inamdar has several publications in index journals and won 2 Best Research Awards at international conferences. He teaches data science under R and Python, option analytics, and sustainable finance. Dr. Inamdar is teaching ESG integration, ESG disclosures, sustainable finance for training and degree programs of NISM. I welcome you, sir, on behalf of all the audiences present here. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Rajalakshmi, for the introduction. Good evening to all of you, those who are attending online as well as on other media as well. So this is the webinar series we have started on sustainability. Last webinar, we discussed ESG and how it is important to corporate sustainability. Now, in this session, in this webinar, we are discussing on reporting standards, especially a BRSR, and how it is important for companies and other stakeholders, and what are the benefit out of this. As for last 4-5 years, the area of sustainability reporting evolving from voluntary disclosure towards the mandatory disclosures. As it is transiting from voluntary to mandatory, so one obvious question asked that why it should be regulated or should be from the regulation. Why not it should be a demand driven or voluntary? As some instances we have seen, especially greenwashing, and also some non-standardization of the data. As this information is used by the investors, those who are the sustainable investors for investing, for this area should have to be regulated, and the regulatory intervention is very necessary for the development of this area, the sustainable and corporate finance area. So now let's discuss first about one survey. This survey is done by Deloitte India about how the corporate India is prepared for the ESG disclosure and ESG reporting. Actually, this survey has been done on 150 companies, Indian companies. Half of them are the multinational companies. And the perception of the people, those who are working in the area of or on the position of a CEO or on the position in compliance officer, as a ESG head or as an ESG members. So they are the participant in this survey. So here you can see that almost 60-70% are saying that they are well prepared for this reporting standards. Some saying that they are not prepared, some are having a slightly prepared saying. Another aspect of this survey is current awareness of the regulation in India. And here you can see that 49% are well aware and 38% are somewhat aware about the ESG regulation in India. Actually, these are the people, those who are actually working in this area, and this survey has been asked. So you can sense out of it means those who are not working in this area means what is the awareness level of that people. So this series, this objective of this webinar is to bring the awareness about the regulations. Especially this sustainability is not a task of the one committee or not just the task of the board members. It's the task of the all the employees and all the stakeholders and whatever the capacity they are engaging with the business. So now let's come with the agenda of this webinar. So in this 50-60 minutes, we will discuss about how this area has been evolved, sustainability reporting, especially in context of India. Then we will see the brief introduction of the BRSR, Business Responsibility and Sustainability Reporting. Then one observation which I have that especially those who are not working for a long time in this area, there are various new terminology which is not very accompanied with the finance field. So that terminology we will discuss in brief. And then we will see that how this BRSR benefit to the companies and how one can implement the BRSR in their companies and reporting framework in their companies if it is not done already. And then we will take some questions on this webinar. So actually, one disclaimer is that the webinar aims to impart the awareness about the business sustainability reporting and education purpose only. Okay, it's a general awareness program we are doing here online. And the interested party on this area on for this webinar can be students, can be practitioners, can be those who want to make a career into this, or those who don't know about what the reporting standard is related to sustainability. So first, if you see the how this area has been evolved, although we have seen in 2023 various regulations are there across the globe related to ESG and sustainability. In this area, in context of India, it's not just in 2023 we have started, but if we go back in the history, so it's a global perspective how the regulation across the globe is taking place, especially mandatory disclosure of the ESG. And here you will see that the whole regime from the voluntary disclosure of this sustainability parameters to the mandatory disclosure is coming take place. And this is till 2020. I've got this stats. But if you see across globe also, almost all of the countries are regulating this area and coming out with the various disclosures frameworks related to this ESG and sustainability. In context of India, the first time the inclusive growth was discussed in 11th five-year plan in 2007 by the government. So in that plan, especially the the more emphasis is on the renewable energy, and the government are pushing the corporate to adopt the renewable energy, and by taking various rebate, by offering a various grant through the government were uh, pushing this inclusive growth through this 5-year plan. Then after we have seen the first time the MC was discussing the voluntary guideline on CSR, corporate sustainability, social responsibility, CSR. So here then after, but major breakthrough happened in a national voluntary guidelines by MCA. So earlier in 2009, voluntary guidelines were a very brief kind of the guideline. But in 2011, the Ministry of Corporate Affairs has come out with the 9 principles, and they were discussing about how the business can conduct responsibly, and on the various 9 areas, how they can implement for the corporates. And on the basis of this, the mandatory BSR, BRR, Business Responsibility Reporting by Market Regulator of India, Security Exchange Board of India, has mandated it for the top 100 companies. So after that, India is the first country who have implemented mandatory CSR. As per the Companies Act 2013, Section 135, and as per their recommended areas, the companies, those who are following a particular parameter, they need to mandatory do the CSR activity. Although the CSR and sustainability are have a different in objective, especially CSR, you can say a subset of the sustainability. ESG and sustainability is very broad areas. CSR is one of the area of it. But when we have implemented in 2014, so the companies had adopted as per their transaction and that. But major breakthrough happened in 2015 when United Nations developed the Sustainable Development Goal, SDG goals. They have carved out 17 areas where they can work that will lead to the global sustainability or various aspects of sustainability. And also in a Paris Agreement, which is called the COP21, also 119 countries agree on this agreement. Thus, that there is a need to address the issue of the climate change, and there should be need to make a commitment by the nations that they should mitigate the impact of the climate change with the various means and various um, policies by the countries. And the same year, the SEBI has increased the BRR from 100 companies to 500 companies as per the market capitalization, top 500 companies. So its scope has increased. And then 2018, MCA revised the old NVG, and then it comes out with a national voluntary guideline for responsible business conduct. And on the basis of this NVGRBEC, we have framed out the BRSR, Business Responsibility and Sustainability Reporting. And now this BRSR again have been revised in 2023, added some more parameter to it, and also introduced the BRSR core. And now we are going for the BRSR assurance in the near future. So why I'm showing this transition, why I'm showing this the evolution. What you will see here, the first is the we are moving from voluntary disclosures to the mandatory disclosure, first of all. Second thing, here you will see that when I was reading the other disclosures, like last month, European Union has approved ESRS, European Sustainability Reporting Standard, and in Parliament it has passed by very marginally voting. Means you can see that some resistance was there, and Security Exchange Commission US also they have delayed applying some regulations related to environment. Uh, but in as compared to this other economies, if you see in India, we have very conducive environment related to this reporting standard. And I think one of the reason that we have placed, first of all, we have done this in a phase-wise manner. We have not done a shocker to the company that, see, this is a reporting now from the tomorrow you go with the disclosure of a 300 disclosures parameter. Even though we are having a BRSR 2023, as compared to ESRS, the European Sustainability Reporting Standard, for BSR is asking only a 300 data points as compared to the international standards. They are asking 1100 parameters, and all this international regulation, although there are many framework and standards, we have carved out this to our need, and also a regulator is implementing it in a phase-wise manner. So the ecosystem should develop around it. So as like I am saying that mandatory CSR. So in 2014 or 2015, 16, most of the companies have at least a little team or some team related to the CSR who is taking care of the social responsibility. So when this new development comes, so that CSR committee, they have expanded their area, or some they have established the new ESG committee, some established the sustainability committee, where they have taken input from the CSR as well. So, now in parallelly with this regulation of on in front of ENS, we have very robust corporate governance regulation evolution. Like in 1998, CII come with the disclosure corporate governance code. Then after Kumar Bingla committee and so many committees we have seen, and the last one is a Uday Kota committee report, and on the basis of that, the LODR of SEBI has been updated, and now we are having a very robust corporate governance standards. Now coming with the introduction of the BRSR, first of all, what we had earlier, the BRR, Business Responsibility Reporting, BRR. And now we have the Business Responsibility Sustainability Report. Earlier one was the qualitative in nature. Most of questions has been asked in BRR are open-ended questions. And it was divided in 5 sections. As the most of the parameter in a qualitative nature, so it was difficult to compare with each other. Means if you want to see that in the same industry, which company is doing best, so it's very difficult on the qualitative parameters on their explanation to do the thing. So now as compared to BRR, in BRSR, most of the disclosure are in a quantitative nature, means they are in numbers, as compared to, and very few are in a qualitative nature. And instead of 5 sections, we have the only 3 sections in a BRSR, although the length is high as compared to the BRR, but these are the 3 sections. And then in BRR, 59 question was asked in that BRR, As compared to here in BRSR, it's 145 indicators. And on these indicators, almost 300 data points has been asked. Some are under the general disclosures, and most of them are under the principle wise disclosure. But as if you see the mandatory indicators, especially as compared to the BRR earlier and the BRSR, voluntary indicators, so it is not only mandatory as well as the voluntary indicators is suggested in BRSR report. And here, especially a principle 3, principle 5, and principle 6, the human rights P5, principle 5, or employees related or environmental related, here you will see most of the new indicator has been introduced. And if you compare the most famous standards and frameworks internationally, especially GRI and SASB, here you will see that this BRSR is having almost 60-70% commonality between GRI and SASB. But in GRI is applicable to the all industry as compared to the SASB, Sustainability Accounting Standard Boards. It's a one international body. So there the standard is as per the industry wide, because for example, in manufacturing industry and service industry maybe emissions and other part is less important, but in a manufacturing industry they are the more important. So as per the materiality they have their standards. But here in case of mandatory in case of uh, so this is the part of the annual report. Earlier also it was BRR was also a part of that, but now it is a part of the LODR annual report. And now here not only with you need to submit to the exchange, but also here this BRSR report you need to submit to the MCA 21 portal in the form of XBRA. So these are the differences between BRI and BRSR. So now let's go into detail about how this BRSR have the structure. So generally it's having a three broad structure. One is a general disclosure. So this general disclosure contain a detail of the listed entities related to product and services and operation, etc. Then we are having management and process disclosures related to a different type of the policies we are having. And the majority part of this disclosures are coming from the principle wise performance disclosures. And in that, see, not everything is mandatory. They say some are mandatory, which is called the essential indicators, and some are the leadership indicators, some are the voluntary indicators. I have some question people asking here. Uh, okay, so I will, so it's not flow with my presentation. So what I will do, I hope I am audible, Rajalakshmi. Okay, fine. So let's continue. So now here, uh, before going into the regulation, one thing, those who are not from finance background or not from this BRSR field, see, there are the two kind of the regulation. One is a rule-based regulation, and one is a principle-based regulation. So generally, a rule-based regulation means they are uh, uh, the rule has been decided, rule has been recommended, means what exactly has to be done. But a principle-wise regulation, it has been asked as per the flexibility. But in the BRSR, you will find the specific rule also has been defined. Means, for example, SEBI has come out with the FAQs, which is saying that how to how to calculate water intensity, and what is the meaning of turnover, and different kind of the aspects also, and especially scope calculations. So that is a mix of it. So for example, if you say that what is the rule base and what is the principle base, yeah, you can see from this two photos, that one here you are specifically saying about what has to be done, and here you are indicating your intention, what you want to do from this regulation. So now the third thing which come while coming with the regulation, the law student better understand this. So for the general people, I am giving this a third photo to you, that letter and spirit. The regulation should be not only followed by the what has been written, but what is the intention? The spirit means the intention behind that regulation. So you will find that all the principle are in the one statement manner. So if you are confused means what to do with that, so find out the intention behind that principle, and according to work for the disclosure. So I think in that case, you no need to find every time to means finding a solution from the exchange or regulator. So here we have this 9 principles. Actually, it is somehow pegged with the Sustainable Development Goal 17 principle. So MCA also have their guideline where they have mapped this all all principle with the SDG goal as well, Sustainable Development Goal for the 17 areas. So instead of going each one of it, let's discuss briefly about the principle wise. For example, so instead of that, what we will do, I have one business responsibility reporting from one company, L&T. So I'm not endorsing any company here for investment, or nor I am assuring any quality and that. Just for the sake of demonstration, is what exactly the BRSR reporting look like. So all the reports, because uh, uh, on exchange portal you will find the most of the companies BRSR reporting reports there. So and those who are disclosing in the form of the XBRN, so you'll find their format are pretty much same. And one thing here I want to mention that SEBI also has given the opportunity for interoperability. Means if you are already disclosing disclosure in other standards like GRI, SASB, so you just need to peg, or you just need to give a reference here in your BRSR reporting. So here the first general disclosures is related to the company. So this disclosure company already disclosed somewhere to exchanges as well as to MCA. So the same thing here, you need to disclose about detail of the companies, then product and services they are offering, various classification of that products, location, and about the employees. So these are the general disclosure, and especially your subsidiary companies, holding subsidiary associate companies. So here you can see L&T is having almost 125. So now CSR detail you will find here, and transparency disclosure companies. But now, what I would like to say here, the principle second is management and process disclosures. So here you will see that rather they have the various policies related to the principles or not. Because see, when you are implementing, if suppose because it's after BRSR core, the supply chain is also very much interested. So here you need to come out with the policy, various policies with that principle also. If roughly almost 20-25 policies you need to be have to accompany with these principles, your internal policies, which should be vetted by the board also, it should be approved by the board also, so that you need to mention here. And then the governance and oversight thing here, and detailed review of the various principles. But the now coming with the section C, which is principal wise performance disclosure, which is majority of the area, majority of the disclosures are coming under this uh, principal section C, principal wise. So, for example, principle one is generally related with the ethical businesses. So, if I will come out with here, so this says that principle one. So, business should conduct and govern themselves with the integrity and in a manner that is ethical, transparent, and accountable. So when we are saying a ethical business, it means that you should disclose what are the fines you have fetched, what are the penalties, or what are the awards you have received, or in are you in any court settlement, or any what is the internal control for any bribery system, how you held responsible the key managerial person or the boards, so that all the ethical practice need to be disclosed in this principle one. So here you will find that they have mentioned all the details here. Now coming with the principle 2, the principle 2 is about the product, means provide a good and service in a manner that is sustainable and safe. When I'm saying sustainable and safe, means impact of the product on the environment, and how that the waste management of that product they are doing, so that they need to mention as per the framework. Some are the leadership indicators they are asking in addition to the essential indicators, like a description of risk and concern and what are the action they are taking. So L&D have the various products, so and how it is impacting to their consumers, or what is the impact of that. So all the plastic waste, e-waste, hazardous waste, they are disclosing here. The My favorite principle is the principle 3. It is showing especially how is the working culture in that company. This principle 3 is related with the well-being of all the employees, well-being of the all the employees. So is this well-being is related with that how the health insurance has been provided, accidental insurance, maternity benefit, and see paternity benefit is also they are calculating, daycare facilities rather the companies having for their employees or not, and as well as for the workers. For the definition between employees and worker, you can refer the labor law. So here they have mentioned in terms of the permanent employee, in terms of the other than permanent workers, and that, and how they are giving, whether they are giving a PF or whether they are giving a gratuity, ESI, and how it has come with the earlier year and this financial year, whether they are giving or not. So instead of searching about the companies in any other portal, I think a BRSR is the best report where you can see the working culture of the that thing. And of course, for the business is giving one advantage that if the company is performing good in the principle 3 for their workers, employees, and improving in that area, so might be it will be for them to retain the good talents and which can transfer into the performance of the company. Uh, so Okay, so next is the fourth indicator, fourth principle, which is we should respect and promote well-being of. Sorry, this has happened. So fourth one is business should respect the interest and responsible of all its stakeholders. See, first time it's happening here that through this BRSR, it has been asked the companies to map their own stakeholder. We know the shareholding pattern and that, but what are their supplier, how they are dealing with the government, who are their customers, what are their regulatory bodies, employed and workforce. So all the stakeholder groups, media communities, so all the stakeholder group and how their interaction with them, so they are asking through this principle 4, and how they are engaging with them. Stakeholder engagement is also asking here the frequency of engagement means, and when required, they are saying biannually they are meeting with the business interaction, client satisfaction survey they are conducting. So this all is stakeholder related to that. Employees related satisfaction survey they are doing, and circular and messages from corporate and line management, corporate social initiative. So various how they are engaging with their investors. Now, the fifth one is promote human rights. Actually, it is related with the labor aspects of that. And not only labor aspects, but all the human rights thing. Means, especially what are the minimum wages there, median salary, human right violation, how the company is receiving and solving the sexual harassment complaints, as compared to the earlier how it has been solved. So all has been mentioned here, and for example, remuneration and salary, median salary as compared to the higher board, KMP, and key managerial person and other. So here you can see the various type of the complaint received to the company here, and how they are resolving it. Child labor related to rather what they are doing. So all the detail has been asked in this principle 5. Now coming with the principle 6, which some companies feel it is challenging for them, because here the as we know that climate risk is having means taking much important in corporate sustainability. Here, climate change, as per the World Economic Forum, among the top 10 risks which the companies are facing, the climate risk related risks are among top 4 in coming 10 years. So here, this principle is talking about what the companies are doing for restoring the environment. So in this, they are asking on the various greenhouse gas emission, starting with their consumption pattern, means various kind of the consumption. They're asking about the various intensity ratios, how they are depleting the surface water, groundwater, third-party water, sea water, desalinated water. So all kind of the environmental resources of what they are using, and as compared to that, how they are emitting that into the environment. So in terms of various parameter of greenhouse gases, they are the 7 8 gases which are very hazardous for the ozone layer. If it is impacting the environment, so it will increase the means in general it is increase the global temperature, and which is cause of the climate change. So here they are mentioning it, also how much they generated the waste, how is the various plastic waste, e-waste, biomedical waste, rather they are doing a recycle, reuse, other recovery operation in that. And here they are asking also in terms of the scope calculation. The scope calculation is generally related to how they are using the energy, and where they are emitting. So I will come in detail about this scope emissions as well. So this is about the principle 6. Now about this principle 7. So principle 7 is related to how the companies, businesses are influencing public and regulatory policy should do so in a manner that is responsible and transparent. Means basically the disclosure is related to rather they are taking part in various association of chambers, or are they taking part in regulation making, or are they taking part in various forum to raise their voice or to make the environment better, or environment in the sense all the business environment better for the stakeholder. So that is coming in the principle says, and also anti competition, what they are doing in that, that also has been shared. Now coming with the second last one is inclusive growth and equitable development. So in principle 8, it's about what the CSR they are doing, because CSR is also one report, annual is a part of annual report. You are mentioning what the CSR you are doing for the thing. But here the what the CSR you are doing, and it's what is the social impact of this CSR. So here you will see a social impact assessment you need to do in this principle 8 of your CSR activity and your CSR project. So that has been defined in this area. And especially when companies start some new project and they acquire some new plant or new business, sometimes it impact the society also. There is a need to do rehabilitation. There is a need to do a settlement. So that impact assessment you need to mention here about the activity of the business and how it is impacting the society as well. So they have given here. Now the principle 9 is related with the business should engage with the provide value to their consumer in a responsible manner. Um, so generally it is related to the customer complaint and especially cyber security risk, especially if you see that software industry or banking industry, for them cyber security is also one of the threats. So what you are doing related to this has been mentioned here. So this about the brief outline of this principle, and see what my understanding of this principles or all the BRSR is that means the two main aspects. What are the risks for your sustainability, and what are the provisions you are doing or actions you are doing for your sustainability? So this two thing, this whole BRSR report is there. So it means that it is useful for the business. Now, if suppose those who have any those who want to study any further detail related to this, so SEBI has also come out with some guidance related to this BRSR. In the guidance also you will see on the portal. If you see how to do the integrated guide to BRSR, so NSE has come out with the one detailed industry wise guideline. Those who want to peg it with the SASB, TCFD, GRI international standards. So where are the commonalities and how to calculate that? So that one guideline you will see on their portal, this NSE portal. The heading you can search an integrated guide to BRSR. Now in 2023, the SEBI has introduced this BRSR core, which is a subset of the BRSR. BSR is also a little bit improvement there, and also a subset is a BSR. So here, some key performance indicator has been introduced under 9 ESG attributes, and keeping the view or the relevance to the Indian emerging market context. Means it's a carve out for the Indian requirement, basically. And it is giving another chance for the better global comparability. Intensity ratio has been given. Revenue adjusted purchasing power parity means as per our purchasing power parity. So the report should be comparable with the international peers. And this BRSR core for the financial year 23-24, it is applicable for the 150 companies. Then after it is for the 250 companies, and for financial year 26-27, it is applicable for the 1000 listed companies. But the most interesting thing of this BRSR core is also asking for the value chain. Means disclosure for a value chain shall be made by the listed companies. Means about their value chain they need to disclose. Annual report means uh, their suppliers or any value chain, if so. And so they need to ask this ESG related disclosure from them also. So for this purpose means now the what are the value chain, means which company you will consider under the your value chain. So they are saying that the top upstream and downstream means who are providing your raw material, who are using for the sales and departing your services. So in that upstream and downstream partners, you need to cumulative those who are comparing 75% of the purchase and sales respectively. So that will cover under it. That will cover in a BRSR core. Now, some important terminology in this whole sustainability ecosystem, which is important for those who are the first time listening to, or those who are new to this area, or those who want to make a career in this area. First of all, see materiality. Company should do the materiality assessment. So, what is the materiality? So, which are the relevant risk for the company? Which is having a significant impact on the organization. For example, if I ask you to rank various risks as per the industry. Suppose banking is an industry, so where the personal data related to customer, that is a one of the very important area. So that is a one material risk you can say. But as compared to the banking industry, if you go to the manufacturing industry, steel manufacturing industry, so you will see that for them, data is not the first risk, but for them, the emission is the first risk, the most important one, because that is making impact on them. So that is nothing but called the materiality. Triple bottom line. So triple bottom line is nothing but people, planet, and profit. So that three thing that we consider. So it's nothing but in terms of the ESG, stakeholder theory has defined this term. Greenwashing is also one term frequently used in this ecosystem. Means that conveying a false impression or providing misleading information about how company products are more environmentally sound. And as per SEBI, it is a greenwashing is making false, misleading, unsubstantiated, or otherwise incomplete claims about the sustainability of product and service or business operation. And companies should avoid doing this. And so that now the audit of this BRSR is not mandatory, but in coming year, the assurance of this BRSR report also has been one very important aspects of the BRSR core. In future, we will see that the report should be assured by the third party. Another term is a circular economy. Which is nothing but how you are utilizing the product, means from the raw material to utilizing the product, and how is you are doing your waste management, whether it is reusable or recyclable or refurbishable. So that all thing is come under the circular economy. There are the various detail to it, but in brief I am saying transition risk. See, there are the companies who are maybe in gamut of the very polluted companies, but they are willing to transit from the high carbon emission to the low carbon emission economy. So that transition is risk means during that process, what are the risks means related to technology advances you need to implement more capital for the more technological advancement, R&D, and that is nothing but a transition risk. And how it will impact in your regular business, that is nothing but the transition risk. Environmental also, there are various important key terminology. One is a carbon footprint, the total amount of greenhouse gases, particularly carbon dioxide in that. See, carbon footprint is related to CO2 and greenhouse gas related to, in addition to CO2, means all seven gases. Carbon neutrality and carbon neutral versus net zero. So this also you will hear very frequently about this two concepts. The difference between that, carbon neutrality means how much you are emitting the carbon dioxide into the environment, and how much you are mitigating that carbon dioxide which is emitted by the companies. So that balance you want to maintain, means emission as well as reduction. So that is nothing but the neutrality. Net zero is about the GHG, greenhouse gas emission. Means not only just the carbon dioxide, so talking about the greenhouse gas emission also, various other gases also. India has committed that we will be net zero by 2070, 2070. And various companies also in India, they have committed that there will be a net zero by 2030, they will be net zero by 2050. And why they need to be do net zero? Because this is impacting the climate change. This is increasing the climate temperature. But who will see that how they have reducing and that? So there is one initiative called science-based target. Means the target should be rational. So this is a carbon disclosure project CDP, the UN Global Compact, the World Resource Institute, and the Worldwide Fund. So they are giving the target setting techniques and advice to the various industries. So globally, 33% of world's company committed to SBTI. This which almost come with a one third in the market cap. Now another in terminology suit one. Another definition is about the scope 1, 2, and 3 you will frequently hear in this area, especially principle 6 of the BRSR. Scope 1 is related to a direct emission. What are the energy used by the companies and they are emitting? So combustion fuel in own facility, on-site industry process, what they are using and they are emitting, especially they are in within the factory they are using and emitting. That is nothing but the direct emission, especially they are the company owned vehicles, and that because of their direct relation. Scope 2 is an indirect relation, means you are purchasing energy from outside, and then because of that you are emitting from that energy some GHG emissions. That is come under the scope 2. And scope 3 is a tricky part, but it's the most important also, because what is the greenhouse gas emissions, most are coming from the scope 3. Scope 3 means coming from your supply chain, upstream from your cradle to gate, or downstream means your gate to grave, means till the waste of the your product. So that how much emission has been done and what is the carbon footprint, that calculation is come under scope 3, and that is coming under. So we have another 5 minutes, so I will quickly go through this BRSR benefit to the company. This I have already covered in my earlier webinar, so I'm coming with this. So first of all, see, this is, you are seeing that various policy you are making, various strategy you are making, mitigating to that risk, how you are doing. So that all in the one document you are making in terms of the BRSR. This is just nothing but the improved risk management. It is also improve operational efficiency also, means you are saving energy to reduce your carbon footprint. So basically is operational efficiency is also improved by this practice of ESG disclosure. Attraction and retention of human resources talent, we have discussed in principle 3, If the company is doing good for their employees and consistently improving, so it is retention of the human resources and access to the capital. See, now the 20-25% roughly are funds under the institutional investor are under the label of sustainable finance. So now those companies doing better in terms of this. So they are finding a good investor for them, so their share price will increase and they will see a wealth creation also. And also those who are good in that, so their cost of raising of the capital is also less. This I have done in my PhD. This is one of the outcome of my research. Innovation and competitiveness is also coming out of this. So you are finding out new ways of doing the business, and also it is not just the challenge, it's also an opportunity. Like some automobile companies, they are coming with the EVs and the so from the uh, fossil fuel cars to the EV vehicles, and now the response from the customer is also good, and they are also building their brand value also, reputation also. So this whole practices in other aspects, especially employees, environment, and that in combination it will impacting a brand value. And it is, if there is a brand, then there is a loyalty from the customer, and you will get a consistent money inflow of the business. And then you will see it is impacting your financial performance. Reduce regulatory risk and positive impact on our financial performance. And enhancing a due diligence, so many policies, so many disclosure you are making. And if you are under the for the insurance assurance, so for that you are making a proof of that disclosure as well. So that's why, so it's increasing a due diligence process also. Now, some surveys says that 78% of investors felt sustainable investing was more important than 5 years ago, and various surveys are saying that is a positively. But let's talk about the recent survey, the financial impact of ESG on a business. So 43% of our firm with over 10,000 employees say ESG boosts financial performance. Only 6% disagree. So this is a KPMG survey of the US based companies. Other surveys says that the business leaders report ESG is delivering financial results. ERM, which is also a reputed institute, 70% of respondents told ESG have a material impact on their investment to date, either creating or eroding value. Recent survey on the Indian companies says that 88% organizations believe sustainability regulation will directly impact their business. More than 75% organizations agreed that ESG is the boardroom discussion. Nearly 90% organizations believe ESG reporting will be improving brand reputation. 75% organizations state that their investor rate their ESG performance. 71% business agree that their organization voluntarily participate in ESG rating. Almost 60% per organization place high level of importance establishing ambitious ESG goal for the future. And last, in brief, I would like to say, means these are the perception survey what we have shared earlier. But what is the evidence on the basis of the real data? So only a research paper I will share here. So those who are the researcher might be they will be interested in means a database evidence. So this is a Gunnar Fred paper. Those who have studied almost 2,000 studies related to the ESG and its performance, rather it is impacting on the performance of the company or not. So what they have found out, they have not found a positive relationship. Actually, this study is between 1970 or 2015. They have not found any negative relationship between this non-negative relationship between ESG and corporate financial performance. One thing is clear from this study is that, see, it is not eroding the value. Maybe it is a cost of the company to the company, but it's not that the because if somebody is very focused on a BRSR activities or sustainability activities, so their performance is impacting. No. So this is the era when it was a voluntarily done. Now, in the era of the mandatory disclosure, so Whelan et al., this NYU Stern study, so they have come out with, they have selected 1,000 very good quality published paper in a good standard journal. So this is related 2015 and 2020, and they say that almost 58 or 60% show positive impact on their performance. So what I think that this BRSR is good for, or this sustainability reporting is good for the company and good for the long-term sustainability of the corporate. Now, quickly, I am coming with the implementation process. Actually, it is a very detailed one, but due to time constraint, I am going quickly. So, like BRSR core is for the companies. So here you can see that from where you should start. If you have not done any BRR, or you are want to do it voluntarily, you are a private company, or you want to be a part of this industry, so or you want to be a consultant, so first you need to do a gap analysis. So best thing is that you compare with the your market leader, and how they are performing, what their policies, and what the policies you are lacking. So prepare that policy first, get approved from the board, and and see that which policies need to be done as per the principles and section A, B, C of the BRSR. Then you need to do a stakeholder mapping, which are the stakeholder which are relevant for you, not only the employees, not only the shareholder, but also your supply chain, but also your nearby community. That stakeholder you need to identify. Next, materiality assessment we have discussed that you need to do. You need to define a key performance indicators. After happening of this is the pre-data collection work you need to do. Now coming with the data collection work, so see where is the data. So actually BRSR data you can see in a three parts, three data center you will see. One is from the HR department, one is from the compliance department, one is from the operations department. Gravity may change, like if you are from software company or banking company, so operationals related disclosure will be less. But if you are on an industry or HR related will be high. But if you are a manufacturing, so operations related will be high, and HR related maybe as compared to that. So that is the thing. Data management is most important, because see sooner or later the I think this 1000 company and more than that will become under the assurance. So what you are disclosing, you should be supported by the document. So it's not that it should be collected in Excel or save in Excel. It should be a non-tempered format. So you need to do software development for that and collection of that. So nowadays there are lots of entrepreneurs are working in this field. Those who are framing the structure for the data collection, they are framing AI tools to come out with the reporting, and picking with the already done MIS, and from that MIS are fetching the data, and then come with the reporting. Your compliance team will help in that and doing the reporting in that. After that reporting, you need to do impact analysis so that it will be helpful for your next reporting, and then coming with the assurance of this. Okay. So this all about the all the disclosure. So in briefly, what at NISM we are doing in terms of the sustainability. See, earlier we had a various fruitful discussion on this topic of the sustainability. You can go to our YouTube channel NISM Academy. Earlier, the Sue Lulaid, who is a vice chair of the ISSB, IFRS, she came, and various other the important guests, especially from the SEBI. Also, they were discussing about this development area. Yeah, and also in last month, I have conducted one awareness series on this corporate sustainability. We have done so this also you will find on NISM Academy. We are also having next month we are also having one international conference we are doing with the London School of Economics. So here also we are discussing about sustainable development and regulation for the sustainable development. We are also trying to develop e-learning programs. So those who are interested in this area, from the student to the board member or employees, they can they can go with this course in context of the ESG regulation in India, and ESG best practices for the investment and integration of the sustainable finance. that we are developing. It is in a development stage. We are also discussing one more program, MDP. Today, I have just briefed you about the various things, but what exactly you can do with the case study and other practices. So that we are trying to do. Hopefully, maybe in January first week, we will come out with this thing. So stay tuned with our website. You will get the detail of this. And in March also, we are having another conference, which is SEBI NISM Research Conference. Those who are the researcher, or even a practitioners, because here we are calling not only the researcher, academic researcher, but also market participants, various discussion, various panel discussion, and speeches with the keynote speakers from this area of sustainable capital formation we are doing. So that's a thing from my side, and thank you very much for listening to me. It's more than 1 hour we have discussed this concept. I hope you have this presentation.
Thank you so much, sir. Sir, since we are already running short of time, we have selected few questions. Shall I start with these questions?
Yeah.
Okay, sir. The first question is, what are the penalties for not submitting BRSR?
BRSR now is a part of LOD, listing obligation. So whatever the penalty for under the LODR is also for the BRSR for not submitting.
Okay, sir.
Next question.
So next question is, under principle 3, what does the accessibility of workplace mean?
Can you repeat?
Under principle 3, what does the accessibility of workplace mean?
Accessibility of workplace. Accessibility means how you are providing the whether you are providing a wheelchair, whether you have ramp for physically disabled people. So that kind of the accessibility is given in that principle. I think a regulation framework will define it better.
Okay, sir. So the next question is, what are the learning resources for ESG?
See, if you're specifically asking about regulation, so I think discussion paper by SEBI as well as the final regulation is the best resource from where you can learn, as well as the exchanges also come out with the various guidelines. That is also useful. NSCBSC, they have also come out with the various guidelines, and also various consultant also they have written various brief summary of the regulation, so that also you can refer for the regulation. Yeah.
Yes, sir. So one last question. Does assurance means audit? What is the difference?
Good question. Assurance. See, generally in audit we verify the data, but in assurance we are not only verifying the data, but we are also assuring that the process of getting the data is good or not. So that is the assurance. Assurance is a big gamut, and audit is a part of assurance.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Sir, actually, we do have some more questions, but since we are running short of time, we will have to take a call right now.
Yeah,
So,
thank you very much. If you have any other question also, there is a email address here also. You can write to me. So if time permit, I will also provide the feedback.
also, I would like to mention that we will be uploading this recording of this particular webinar on YouTube very shortly. So you can refer to all the previous versions of this the series webinar also, and this one also from the YouTube.
I think Pratiksha, you have mentioned my email ID wrongly. It's a one-time Mera Janamdan.
The email ID is mentioned here in the slide.
In the slide, on the slide it's mentioned.
Okay. So thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for taking out your time and
Thank
joining us
you.
here. It was such an informative webinar. I'm sure everybody would have got a lot of information from here. And thank you, audience, for joining us here.